that. We're back, Brian. Another episode.
Yes.
Another episode.
Where
Another.
did you even post that?
Where did I post what?
I think you just
Oh,
thingied.
on air
I can't
chat.
find it.
On air chat. The newest message on air chat.
Ah, that one.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, look at technical difficulties. Avengers started. So, Brian, time
Yes.
is precious. We're running out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, are we running out of time? We are, because we're getting older.
Yeah.
But we, as in humanity, are we running out of time? Like, is there like a set amount of time any animal can be present? If that makes sense. Because look, the dinosaurs got fucked. Look at all these species that are dead now, like they've gone extinct.
Yep.
We're quite new to the planet still, like 20,000 years at most, right? So,
a bit that.
Is there a limited amount of time a species, an organism can be around for? And if there is, can we break that by going back? Would it reset the clock?
Possibly not.
But would it not be like an
reset the clock?
Yeah, but if we reset the clock, yeah, let's say we've done 20,000 years now, we go back, that reset the clock, that gives us another 25,000 years, right? Or 20,000 years. Or would us going back fuck up everything we've done because of the paradox? If you kill even a butterfly, it'd have a massive effect.
Yeah, I think we would fuck everything up.
So, I have a weird question, right? Well, it's less of a question, more of a thing to make you think. So,
right.
Time travel's real. I go back and I kill my parents. That I could never kill them. Because then I'd never have been born, which means I could never have gone back to have killed them. So does that prove if we went back, no matter what we did, it wouldn't have an effect? Because if I went back and killed my family line off like 100 years ago, I can't have been born. Which means I can't have gone back to kill that bloodline off, so they'd have been born again. So it'd be an endless loop, wouldn't it? So does that mean whatever you do wouldn't really have a real effect? Because it just paradox itself.
True.
Because the butterfly effect wouldn't work. So let's say I decided that I don't want my family to ever have come into existence. So I go back as far as I know when my family is. And I stop the bloodline there. I kill it off. Which means I was never born. Which means I never went back to kill them. Which means they'd now be alive. Then I'd be born again. Then to go back. It'd be like an endless loop.
Yeah, but then what if you go back, kill a member of your family, realising it's not actually then your member of the family? Would that affect anything then, or... So let's say...
Let's say I fucked up and killed your family. Huh. That's a good point, actually. It wouldn't have an effect on me, I don't think. But wait, so you're saying I got it... It turns out one of my parents isn't really my parents and I killed the wrong bloodline, but before I went back, I thought they were my parents, right?
Yeah.
Then that could still have a huge effect on me because there'd be a person missing that used to be there. So I'd grow up differently, which means I might not want to go back and kill that line off.
So it could be a lot of trial and error, basically.
Yeah, but if I went back and purposely killed somebody else's family line off, then I reckon I could do that without it affecting my timeline. But it still affects my timeline because I'd have to have known that person to go back and kill him. Let's say I went back to kill Hitler. If I went back, killed Hitler, then went back to now, let's say I did it today, Hitler would never have existed, so the world could look completely different because World War II never happened. He never fought in World War I because he didn't exist. So would it change the world massively? Because some people say, oh, if you could go back and do one thing, everyone says, I'd kill Hitler. But that'd mean the world isn't the way it is now. I'm not saying what Hitler did was a good thing. It isn't, mass genocide, bit fucked up. not a good idea.
Yeah.
But what would the world look like now if I went back and killed Hitler? Because let's think, the war never happened, right? World War II never happened. So some of the
Yeah.
alliances we have now wouldn't have happened. The people in charge would be different because it wouldn't have been war-based politics. So
Hmm.
where you're sat right now, you might not even be sat there anymore. Your family might not be still in Scotland. They could have moved anywhere because of the war changed how
True.
everyone did things. So I think this is why the butterfly
Hmm.
effect works, because if you kill one thing, it could have massive effect.
Yeah. Hmm.
Bit weird. But see, the way I like to explain time travel to people, because I talk about it a lot because I don't have a life, is imagine a camera. I'm
Mm-hmm.
recording a video of you, like we are right now, weirdly. When we're done
Yeah.
recording, I can look back and it's like I've travelled back to when we recorded. Like when this is uploaded to YouTube, we could look back in 10 years. And it would be like with time travel because we're back in that moment that we are right now, 10 years ahead of us.
Yeah.
So we can only go back if it's recorded, right? So if we didn't record this video,
Yeah.
it never went on YouTube, we could never look back and think, oh, this conversation was about time travel. We did this. It was a Saturday. It was the 14th. We wouldn't have that reference because we never recorded it. It'd just be like a normal day of conversation.
Yeah.
So the way I see
Hmm.
time travel is you can only travel as far back as the first time machine. Like this is my thinking, right? Working with video and audio and all the time. This is the way I think. You could
Yeah.
only go back to when the first time machine was built because that's when it would start recording time.
Mm-hmm.
So if we built a time machine now, I don't think we could ever go further back than right now because it wouldn't have been recording time.
Hmm.
But in 10 years' time, we could come back to today because it would have been started recording today.
Yeah.
That's how I think time travel works. Obviously, I don't know. But that's why I see it, because when you look back at memories or like pictures when you're a kid, somebody had to take that picture for that memory to be there.
Yeah.
So it's like you're looking back in time because, oh, look, I was only 4 then. Like, if that
Hmm.
picture wasn't taken, I couldn't look back and think that was me when I was 4. Because I'm not going to remember what I looked like when I was 4. I was just a fat kid, probably. But I can't look back without a photo.
Yeah. True.
So does time travel work the same way that it has to be recorded in time? You need to be able to go back in time to look at it.
I'd think so. Yeah.
Now, what makes that weird is you always see a distant star.
Aha.
It's caught on a telescope or something, and it's 50 billion light years away. We're seeing that
Mm-hmm.
planet 50 billion years ago. Because that's how long it took the light to get here at the speed of
Yeah.
light. So we're looking into the past, right? It's not one to one. We can't see it as of today. That's what it looks like today. That's what it looked like years ago because of how light travels.
Mm-hmm.
So, in effect, are all planets time traveled? Because if we got a message from a
Could do.
planet saying, we're over here, you stupid crazy apes, with your nuclear bombs, but the planet's 10 million light years away. So we get that. So
Aha.
sound travels slower than the speed of light. So let's just double it to make it easier. So 20 billion light years. So
Mm-hmm.
that means 20 billion years ago, traveling at the speed of light, they sent that message. By the time we've got it, they're dead. The person who sent that's not alive. So is the key to jumping planets time travel? Because if you can move faster than the speed of light, things behind you are going to get older quicker than you are, right?
Yeah.
And we'd need to get faster than the speed of light to get to all these planets within the human lifespan. But you're aging now at a different rate than people on Earth. So is that technically time travel?
You would think so. Yeah.
Because a day for you could be 10 days on Earth because of the speed you're moving. So
Hmm.
you've gone through the motions of just one day. Everyone else has gone through 10. So they're getting older at a faster rate than you. They're aging quicker, I should say, than you. So would that mean you're technically time traveling because you're moving faster than life normally goes? So would that be considered time travel? I know it's space travel, and if we ever got fast and speed of light, it would be considered an achievement to get to other planets. But if you look at it from that perspective of everyone else would be aging quicker than you, are you time traveling because your body's going through things for you normally, but for everybody else on Earth, you're pretty much in slow motion through aging process. They see you as a flash. You're fucking gone if you're moving that quick. But for you, you're not. You're inside this ship. You're looking around. Your arms moved like normal. You pick things up like normal. So everything's just normal. But on Earth, because you're moving so fast and they're looking at you, it'd look like you're in slow motion picking everything up because they'd be aging quicker than you. So it'd look like everything you're doing is really slowed down. So would that be considered time travel?
I would say yes.
Now, can we replicate that now without the speed of light? I think we can. The space station, they get like 2, 3 sunrises and sunsets a day. Actually, I think it's more like 8. So would that be considered time travel because their days are going quicker, like they're sped up.
Hmm.
Let me check how many sunrises and sunsets there are every day on ISS. ISS, how many orbits per day? That's close enough. So it does 16 orbits a day. So it has 16 sunrises and sunsets in 24 hours. And I know that's just the angle that they're going around and stuff like that. But for them, that's technically 16 days, right? Because for us, a day, the
16 days
sunsets.
in the future.
Yeah, because for us, the sunrises, sunsets. That's probably the wrong way around. I don't know east, west, or whichever way I'm facing. But it rises, lovely day, goes down, nighttime, cycle starts again. So if they're getting that 16 times a day, that's 16 days, technically days, on how we count a day. And obviously, for them, 24 hours is still 24 hours, same way it is for us. But
Yeah.
they're seeing 16 sunrises and sunsets every day. So could that be considered a primitive time travel? Because it's not very. Okay, the International Space is very high tech, and I don't mean that it's not high tech when I say this, but it's not a high tech way of traveling through time. It's not like we're going millions of miles an hour.
Yeah.
But the International Space is obviously a great feat of engineering. Is that like a primitive form of time travel? Because they're doing 16 days when we're doing 1. So does that mean they're going to the future? No. It'd be they're going to the past. Because for every 16 days they do, there's 1 on Earth. So when they come back, technically they're ahead. They would have been ahead, so they've gone back in time. I think. Would it be back or forward? They're going forward because they're going faster than us. So when they land, they'll be going back to the same speed, which would slow them down. So yeah, they'd have gone back in time.
Yeah.
So is that primitive time travel?
I would say yes to that because that's.
It's a confusing one. So now
I've never actually thought of that.
So now we're confused, Brian. We're going to go on to some time travel stories.
Hmm.
So Brian, what time travel stories you got? You're up first.
What wait there? Did I not push that in the thing?
I don't know. I can't open it because I'm on recording the screen.
Give me a minute.
I thought you had these ready. That's what I said.
I did this. I was saying I thought I sent it in the thing, but it must not have been the right.
Okay, so while you're finding it, I'll talk about them. That way it's not weird.
Okay.
So in the early 2010, in the early 2010s, a photograph depicting a 1941 reopening of the South Fork Bridge in Goldbridge, British Columbia in Canada went viral for seemingly depicting a man that just looked a bit too modern to have been photographed in 1941. So let me just get out the picture on the other screen so people can see what we're talking about. Seemingly depicting a man that looked just a bit too modern to have been photographed in 1941. He looks, in fact, like a time traveling hipster. Graphic T-shirt, textured sweater, sunglasses. The works. The photo hadn't been manipulated. The original can be seen. So what's going on here? So the Smithsonian has the original image. So the original
So they've got the
photograph.
original.
Yeah. So the picture we see online is just a photocopy of it. It's like photo scanned.
Yeah.
But they have the original, so they know it's not someone just in Photoshop fucking with a picture. Because in 1941, I don't think you could edit. Well, I guess you could edit a picture, but it'd take a lot more work. Like you'd have to set it up, take multiple pictures, and layer it.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
this guy's dressed in like a fleecy hoodie with a big M printed on his t-shirt. Just modern looking hipster sunglasses, and he looks like he's holding a camera. But if
Yeah.
you look at everybody else, so have you got the picture up as well? Yeah.
Yeah. I've got on.
So if you look at everybody else's suit, tie. I don't know what you call them hats. Uh, Weird hats. We'll just say, because I don't know what they're called. But everybody else looks like they're dressed for the time period. You're in a suit, tie. You're in your Sunday best. It's a big reopening of a
Yeah.
bridge. He just looks out of place. He even looks like he's got a bit of stubble. Like he's got like a 9 o'clock shadow, 5 o'clock shadow even. Wrong time. Everybody else is clean shaven. No one seems to be paid.
Everyone was.
Yeah, because you were dressing smart. It was an occasion. It was an event. You wanted to look your best. I was like a social gathering sort of thing. Hey, who thought we'd have social gatherings anymore? Time change.
Yeah. No.
But he's got stubble. He he just looks out of place. But the weird thing is, if you look at the picture, nobody seems to be looking at him like, oh, there's one lady looking at his direction.
Yeah. Is that the one that's in between the two men? Just you can just see.
Yeah,
You can heed.
kind of where the red circle is on the picture I've got up on screen. But nobody else seems to be paying him any attention like that. They've seen it before.
Hmm.
Now, it could be just timing. Everyone was just looking as they were cutting the thing to open the bridge. Maybe that was why no one's paying attention to him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem to fit. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Now,
Hmm.
a lot of people say what he's wearing was available at the time. It's just not very common. So,
Yeah.
okay, possible. But the camera in his hand, the way we'd have cameras now, cameras back then were a lot bigger than just handheld. I think I'm sure they were.
Wait, when was that? The 40s, eh?
1941.
1941 cameras were like tripod things with no kind of still then.
That's what I was thinking. But he just doesn't fit. Now, people say the clothes he's wearing were available at the time, just not very common.
Hmm.
But he's the only one who's not in a suit. If they were common, you might see somebody else in just a plain t-shirt
Yeah.
with sunglasses. But nobody else even got sunglasses on. Nobody has the same, just a t-shirt. Everybody else is in full suit.
Yep.
But it's just weird because if you look at the picture, nobody even has sunglasses on there. It's clearly a sunny day because the guy at the bottom right is squinting. When you do, you can see a lot of shadows and it really overexposed, which means a lot of light. He's the only one with sunglasses on. He's the only one not in a suit. His hair looks like mine when I take my hat off, like he's just woke up. Well, everybody else is smartly dressed. The ones who aren't wearing a hat, got their hair done nice, looking smart.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't. He just doesn't look in place.
You could tell he's like not meant to be there.
Yeah. Now, could it be time travel? I mean, as far as we know, we the public, time travel's not doesn't exist yet. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means we don't know about it yet. The government could
Yeah.
have it. But if let's say time travels, the government have it right now, why would they go back just for a picture like this of a bridge being built? It's not
Yeah.
like a grand historic event like the falling of the Berlin Bridge or Berlin Wall or something. It's not like a huge event. It's just a bridge reopening.
Yeah. Nothing really important.
No, it's not like it's a grand event like when we first got to space, things like that. It's not like it's a huge event. It seems like a mediocre thing. Like in the 40s, they'd go to their wife, look, we've got nothing to do today, love. Let's just go to the bridge. They're opening it.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not going to be a great time. It's just something better than listening to the radio. I was going to say TV, but I didn't have TVs then, I don't think. All right, Brian, have you found your time travel story?
Ming was the one we were talking about the last time when we came off, was the Donald Trump one.
Oh, so he stole the
Or
story.
Barron Trump.
He stole the story I gave you.
Aye.
All right, let's hear it.
Glad I can much about it because you're the one that told me about it. I've read up about it, like when you got elected and that the Trump Tower got hit by lightning or something, and
So would you like some help with the story, Brian? Because you skipped the important part of the story. You need to give it backstory.
there's a picture of him in the well, like where was this?
Yeah, but you need to start the story off. So Trump, one of Donald Trump's family members, was investigating Albert Einstein, who had was it Einstein? Might not have been Einstein.
was it no
Tesla,
Tesla?
Nikola Tesla. That was it. Who had supposedly at the time found a way to make a time machine. Now there was no. Yes, it was made. No, it wasn't. But there were plans for a time machine. So when the investigation started, the plans for the time machine suddenly disappeared, and Trump's family member, I forget his name right now, was investigating it at the time, so he could have got hold of the plans. There's some small coincidences throughout time about Donald Trump's son, Barron Trump, and things like that. But what's weird is the time of the election in Trump Tower, lightning kept striking the tip of the tower. So the idea is Trump could have gone forward in time or back in time to work out what had happened for the election. My idea is he went forward to find out if he won, found out he didn't, went back to make it work, make sure he won. And so Tesla's plan for the time machine was it needed a huge amount of energy, amount of energy that we couldn't just make back then, but lightning could.
Yeah.
So was the plans passed down the family line to Donald Trump? And then when lightning hit, it powered the time machine. Now, I love the story. It's a great story, but I can poke holes in it. So it relied on lightning to start, right?
Yeah.
Let's say lightning hit the building next to it instead. Time machine no worky. Like it could be that simple to fuck that up. But you could then fight back and say, well, the time machine was already used. Trump knew where lightning was going to hit, so he built the Trump Tower in that position.
So would that have been his father then that put Trump Tower there,
Or I can't remember the family member's name again. The one who found the plans or got the plans didn't just find plans. He found the working time machine.
they just hid it?
He used it, I reckon. Would be my guess. Because the Trump family is a weird family, we'll say. There's a lot of holes in time periods of their lives and where money came from. So was it just the use of a time machine? Did they find not just the plans but found the machine as well?
Probably found both and just decided.
Now this could just sound like
them...
a crazy conspiracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for conspiracies. It's sort of in the intro to the podcast. We have conspiracy theories wrote there anyway. But most of the time, conspiracy theories, there's some level of truth for it to start. Like
Mm.
aliens and UFOs. Well, people saw something in the sky. Could it have been a government test plane? Of course. But we don't know what that is, so we just see weird shit in the sky, it's flying, definitely a UFO, which they're not wrong, it's an unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
So the conspiracy for aliens and UFOs makes sense. So the conspiracy theory that Trump's family are time travelers, well, there's some levels of truth. He did investigate Tesla. Plans for
Yeah, I
something
found
were
the
found.
family name.
Well,
It's John G. Trump.
there you go. It was me all along.
Hmm.
But he did investigate Tesla. Some plans were found. Now, there's no guarantee the plans were a time machine,
Mm.
but there's some level of truth behind the story. He did investigate Tesla. Tesla was this crazy inventor who could do strange things with electric. He wanted wireless electricity. He did talk about time machines, that it was possible to travel, things like that.
Yeah,
So,
but didn't he also talk about the death ray Tesla?
yeah, which I think was the original reason why he was getting investigated, because he wanted to make weapons.
Mm. And that's when the Trump family came in, and they might have the death ray. Hmm.
Yeah, but was it really a death ray? Was it a cover up
Mm.
like we do now? Like, when the government is investigating something, they don't say exactly what it is while they're investigating it because it'd blow what they're doing.
Yeah.
So was the pretense he has a death ray when in reality, no, they knew what he was up to, but they needed a way to make it seem reasonable to raid him and take all of his stuff off it.
Mm.
But there's always a level of truth to a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
So that's why it could be possible. Now, the chances of it being possible are very low. I just really like that conspiracy theory because it hits the perfect notes. There's big name, big famous names, a rigged
Mm-hmm.
election, and small pieces of truth in there, which makes it more believable. So could it have been that? Chance that is no, but
Possibly.
it's a cool story.
And plus, what I'm reading up, it says they only took 3 days of investigation as well.
Yeah, which back then isn't a long time. It's not like now where, let's say I'm investigating you. First thing I'd do is go on the internet, go through your social media, see what you've been up to, things like that. It's not like that existed then.
Yeah.
It was pen and paper, it had to be filed and all that sort of stuff, which took days of manpower. So
Yep.
why was the investigation cut so short? Is it because they found what they were looking for way quicker than anticipated?
Yeah, and then just hid it under other lies.
Yeah.
And saying there was nothing.
So what's your next story, Brian?
My next story was about the Charlie Chaplin time travel woman.
Do you have the
In the
story ready?
is it the 1920s, was it? Or
1955. Oh, no, that's when the video was found. 1928. I have it up on screen.
yeah, when she's walking about with the phone on her. Well, it looks like she's holding a phone next to her ear, walking past a zebra.
All right, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate, just because why not? I like pissing people off. Now, I don't know any of these facts, but people said she was just hiding her face. She didn't want to be seen on camera.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I've seen people do that when filming's going on. I live in London. A lot of filming gets done here.
Yeah.
Like Black Mirror, most of it's filmed roughly where I live, so there's always camera crews there.
That
But
must have been fun.
it was weird. Everywhere was shut down for a long time. But if that was the case, she was hiding her face, which could be believable. Why is it one? So she's walking like this past, yeah. So she could be hiding her face. But at
Yeah.
one point, she looks directly at the camera and looks back, like she's looked at it and thought,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh fuck, yep, let's look this way."
I've been spotted.
Yeah. So if she was hiding her face, why would she look directly at a camera? Because cameras weren't small then. It's not. It's not like my phone where I could, sort of sneak a video in by hiding most of it. The cameras were fucking big.
Yeah.
So she knew it was there. They were noisy as well.
Yep.
So she's hiding her face. Why did she look round?
True. And then plus, with the style of clothing she's wearing as well, it's a bit. I would say it's the right era as well for her. Possibly.
Okay, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate again. If she's on her phone, who's she calling? There's no satellites. We haven't put satellites in space yet.
True.
So who's she phoning? Because even if time travel's possible, communication still has to bounce. We don't have satellites yet. So who would she have been calling and how? Because you could say who she was calling was another time traveler because they were working together on something, but how would they have got that line of communication? Because even right, so I've got two phones here. If I use one to phone the other one, the connection's not direct. I'm not directly hitting this phone. It's going up to a satellite, coming back down, or a broadcast tower. It wouldn't go in direct.
Just bouncing.
Yeah, it wouldn't go direct. Even if they're on the same network, everything, it wouldn't be direct. It'd have to ping up somewhere else first. So how would the call have worked? Because where would the signal have gone?
True. Or she could have just been having the phone at her and then just kind of talking into like a note thing or something.
But why?
Instead of kind of having it done. Well, in fact, because most people would just.
But if you were taking notes and wanted to be inconspicuous, the phone upside down to where the mics are and just put it near your chest with your hands over it, like you're just walking past like an old lady. You'd still get a decent, you'd get a decent communication to your phone. Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah. You could cover it, or with your arm, so it looks like you're just walking like an old lady would. To hide it, why would it be up to her ear? Because think about it, 1928. What did we have back then that you'd even do like that? If you look back at the 60s and that, walkie-talkies were huge.
Yeah.
So are phones. So let's say she is from that time period. What would actually fit in her hand to her ear like that most of her hand would cover? Because if you think a tape recorder, the tape would have to be like a cassette tape, and then an enclosure around it, which would be even bigger. It'd be bigger than what it looks like in her hand. Because looking at the size of the building and things behind her, she's not a giant. She looks, about 5'8", 5'9". So she hasn't got huge fucking hands to cover up, a giant tape recorder like that. Her hand looks clasped around something, and it doesn't look that big. It looks similar to how my hand looks around my phone. So what would she have been? What could she have been holding if she's from that time period?
Plus, there wasn't much things invented back then that.
No. Now, could it have been a hearing aid?
That small anyway.
Could it have been a hearing aid?
Well, she's just trying to sort it out.
That or what were hearing aids like back then? Did you have to hold them to hear?
Let me check. Hearing aids.
Because she doesn't look out of place. If you ignore the hand towards the ear that looks like a phone, she doesn't look out of place. She looks like she's getting on with her day. Because there's a fella in front of her behind the zebra. He's just getting on with his day. Yeah. It's like they're taking just stock footage like people do now.
True.
Like she doesn't. It's not like she's completely dressed out of place. Like she's got a Gucci suit on or something, or Gucci shoes or anything weird like that. It all looks period dress. Because if you look at the guy in front, it's not that far out.
Yeah. Maybe that should.
So what would be in her hand?
Right. So, I believe I sent a picture to the in your chat. What hearing aids were like in the 20s.
Oh, right, okay. It definitely can't be a hearing aid. Okay, it's like a big horn thing. Okay. So what else could she have been holding to her ear? Because for all we know, she might not actually be holding anything to her ear. She might be just itching the back of her ear. But it seems like her hand's there way too long because it's a little video. I don't have the video and I can't show it because, copyright. But she walks with her hand there. It doesn't look like her fingers are moving like she's itching her ear, itching the back of her neck. sorting her hair out, sorting her hat out. It's like her fingers don't move, like she's just holding something steady. Because when you itch in a
Yeah.
video, you'd see it. You'd see the fingers like curling up and down.
Yeah.
Looks a bit weird because I got a headset on, but it'd be like that. Or she's sorting her hat out, you'd see her tugging on it. But it's not like
Hmm.
her arms moving; it's like steady. So what else could you be holding other than a phone?
Yeah,
But if
true.
it is a phone, who's she talking to? This is the one that always confuses me. Because it looks like she's on the phone, but who would she be calling? There's no satellite
Hmm.
or broadcast tower. I mean, but would there be a broadcast tower for TV? And is there a way of hijacking that for cellular use? Because it's still radio waves if you think about it. It'd
Yeah.
be only analog signal, which is more powerful than digital, but it's not as clean. So could they have hijacked a TV signal?
They could have. Hmm.
Now, let's say time travel's real, yeah. I'm sure they give you a booklet of do's and don'ts. Don't walk in front of a fucking camera from the time period where you're gonna get caught out, you silly bastards. I think that'd be number one. Actually, I
Yeah.
think telling people your time travel would probably be number one. Number two is don't be a twat in front of a camera. Number three, don't use your phone in front of a camera, you buffoon. Four, don't punch people in the face. I don't know. I don't really know any other time travel ones. But you'd think there'd be set rules, and if time travel's real, they'd know exactly where that is because they'd have seen it
Yeah.
before they went back.
Yeah, cider. Yeah.
What do you mean? This one's strawberry and lime, dude. It's nice. I got a mixed fruit one behind me as well.
Yeah. I was going to name it my mum's last week and it tasted horrible.
No, they're nice, dude. What brand was it? Was it Koppenberg?
Yep.
Yeah, shout out Koppenberg. If you ever want to sponsor the podcast, we'll get drunk every day on podcast with it. Say every day. We don't do a podcast every day. So, I have lost my list.
Your train of thought.
A little bit. It happens a lot. I'm getting old. So the hipster one's a bit weird. What one do you think's weirder, the hipster one or the lady on the phone? I've just remembered what the next one is. I think the lady on
I
the phone's
guess.
weirder.
Yeah.
Because the hipster one
Especially
doesn't
for
look
that
like he's
time
drawing
period.
attention. Well, the hipster one's just got a
No.
camera. He's got his glasses on. He's not looking at the camera. He's trying to fit in. Maybe he's dressed a bit wrong,
Yeah.
but other than that, he's trying to fit in. He's not holding a fucking phone to where he's here. Because he's got a camera in his hand. These days, if I want to take a picture, saying I'd use my phone. I have cameras because all this
Yeah.
stuff, but I'd still use my phone. Not because my phone's got a better image or anything like that. The proper cameras like my Sony and that way better image. But for convenience, I'd use my phone.
Mm-hmm.
He's using a camera. By the looks of it, it's actually I'd guess a Kodak in that time period. I don't think Canon was around yet.
Possibly.
All right, so the next weird one we've got is a Mike Tyson fight from 1995.
Yeah.
This one, I've tried to come up with reasonable explanations, like just in my own way of
Mm-hmm.
like, could I debunk this? I don't think I can. So in 1995, during a Mike Tyson fight, there's a picture. It's on screen now of what looks like someone taking a video or picture like this. The camera lens is to the side. Have you seen this picture before?
Yeah.
The camera lens is to the side of the device. We'll say, won't say phone device, which is very new. We've only just started doing that. So I've got some old phones that still have the camera in the center because it makes more sense there. But then they moved it to the top because then your hand can go here. You don't block the lens. But he's holding it
Yep.
this way round. For a start, whoever takes videos this way around, I want to strangle you, okay? Always turn your phone sideways because, better image. It uses both lenses,
Yep.
but that's not the point. So, in 1995, phones were still big bricks.
Why?
Big aerial sticking out. Look like a twat holding it. Big fuck off battery. Obviously no camera. But this picture looks like he's taking a picture of the fight. Now, on the screen now, there is a picture of 3 cameras that people say it could be, which have lenses to the side, very rudimentary home video cameras, but none of them look the same. Because it looks like there's a camera lens, a flash, and then another sensor. All the pictures of cameras on the screen don't have that. But again, this is another one that could be a phone. So why are these time travelers going around with their phones? Because there's another picture I've just seen where it looks like a flash is kicked in on the camera.
Yeah, I've just seen that picture. Because a picture without the flash, well, there's a few, and then when I just seen is like the flash is on it now. It's
like he's taking the picture because it's a dark environment. You know, fighting events for the audience, they're mostly in the dark, and then the ring or the cage is lit up way better because it's easier to film that way. Otherwise, cameras pull focus in weird ways. So the phone would kick in that it's in a dark environment because your phone's flash actually works on modern phones off your front-facing camera because there's a light sensor, which is how it automatically dims the screen. So if you put your hand over the sensor and then take a picture, even if you're in a bright room, the flash will kick in if you have it enabled. So because the front cameras will be pointing at him, his flash would kick in because it trigger it's dark. Now I've seen that picture, it's even harder for me to poke holes in this one now. That's kind of annoying. I was looking forward to poking holes in this. But again, why it's... Well, yeah, I like doing it. It's fun. But this is going on the way we've done this. This is the second one that involves possibly a phone. Now, this one is not holding it to his ear to make a call, which he could, because we had phones in the 90s.
Yeah.
So that would be possible. But he's taking a video or a picture. Again, it annoys me that the camera should be that way, but that's neither here or there. But what I don't get is, let's say he's a time traveler, he's going back to document things. Why document something that was so recent, like 95? Isn't that long ago? I know it's not that long ago because it's the year I was born. It's definitely not a long time ago. But it's on video, a colour video. It's not like a black and white one and he's going back to get context for colour and everything. It's a colour video already. Yeah. You know, I can see Mike Tyson's red gloves, so it's definitely a colour video. Yep. So why would he be going back for that picture or that video? Like, what would the reason behind it be? We've already got it on video because that's how we caught him.
Yeah.
So it's not like his document something that we haven't seen before. So why would we going back to video that? Like, why? Just why? If it was you, why would you go back to video that?
There would be no point because you can watch it automatically.
Yeah. Did anything big happen in 1995? Well, of course it was. I was born. I am the son of God. Just look at my beautiful face. But did anything... How do I word it? Major happen? I can't think of anything.
No, I can... off the top of my head. Let me just...
See, you were around then. I weren't.
Yeah.
And that's not an old joke. That's a serious one. I wasn't around. You was. I can't think of anything big that happened, especially near a Mike Tyson fight.
Let's see, 1995 major events.
Time travel. Well, there just isn't anything.
No.
Right, so let's say it's a coincidence. It was a device from back then, yeah? Let's just err on the side of caution. It looks like that because of the blur of the camera, not enough pixels, so it's filling in space. It could be a small handheld camera. So that one's you could debunk quite quickly. Right? So it's a handheld camera, and the camera just happens to pick up the only person that's using it. Weird coincidence, weird chances, but it could happen. So let's say that one is innocent. So now I have a weird one for you. This one's less of a time travel, more of a time slip. If you know what a time slip is.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know what a time slip is, it's where you accidentally slip into a slightly different time period to your own. You didn't purposely travel through time; it just so happened, you know, whether they're real or
Just
not.
randomly.
Yeah, whether they're real or not, I don't know. So, this one's Victor Goddard's airfield time slip. So, Victor Goddard was an RAF pilot, very good pilot, very well respected in the RAF. So, this way it gets weird. So, in 1935, Goddard flew over what had been the RAF station Drem in Scotland on his way from Edinburgh to Hanover in England.
I know this story.
The Drem station was no longer in use after, I don't know how that word is put. Demoralization? I don't know. Efforts following World War One. It had mostly been left to its own devices, and indeed, that's what Goddard said he flew over. Well, he saw when he flew over it. A largely abandoned airfield. So when he went over it, it was just an abandoned airfield, just like any other one. You know, the grass is growing through the runway, just dilapidated.
Yep.
On his return trip, though, things got weird. He followed the same route and he had on the way there, so he'd pretty much just flipped and gone the other way. But during the flight, he got waylaid by a storm. So a storm hit, it slowed him down because obviously visibility, safety, everything comes into account. As he struggled to regain control of his plane, however, he spotted the Drem airfield through a break in the clouds. When he got closer to it, the bad weather suddenly disappeared, so the weather just cleared up instantly.
Yeah.
But this isn't uncommon in the sky because you go through clouds. Weather can change really quickly in the sky. So that's not weird. He said that's not weird. That happens quite often. And when he got closer to it, I just read that bit. But the airfield wasn't abandoned this time. It was busy with several planes on the runway and mechanics scurrying about. Within seconds, though, the storm reappeared and Goddard had to fight to keep his plane aloft again. He made his way home just fine. He went on to live another 50 years, but the incident stuck with him in 1975 he wrote a book called Flight Towards Reality. So that missed out some of the weird stuff. So when he flew over it again and he saw it was now being used, he saw people in blue overalls, mechanics, and yellow planes on the ground. And he thought to himself, RAF mechanics don't wear blue. So that was a bit weird to him.
Yeah.
And we don't use yellow planes. They're usually silver or black for not being seen.
Yeah.
After this whole experience, he went back a few years later just to look around, with his family and that, because it was like an air event, like showing off planes and that. When he got there was people in blue overalls, and he saw yellow planes on the runway, identical to what he thought he saw in the sky. But when he flew over it was abandoned. The first time he flew over it was abandoned, like it was meant to be. The war had ended, we weren't using that base anymore, because after a war, a lot of bases just get left. Like the Top Gear racetrack used to be a World War II airstrip. After the war, it was abandoned. But when he flew over it the second time the storm hit, he saw people in blue overalls, yellow planes on the ground. But then when he went back a few years later, he saw that again. It was like deja vu. Now, did he slip forward in time because of the storm, lightning, things like that? And then when he saw it, he was just seeing, remnants of the future, what was going to happen. Because if you imagined it, you wouldn't get it so spot on. The blue overalls, the yellow planes, because they didn't use yellow planes then.
And yellow planes were mostly like biplanes and that.
Yeah, and there would have been no place for them in an RAF abandoned base.
Yeah.
Because even though a base is abandoned, it's still government-owned property by the military. So it's not like you just go drop your plane off for a few weeks and go pick it up. But he then resaw it when he went back. A few years later, he saw exactly what he saw when he was in his plane. So did he slip forward in time? Because there's a lot of these plane ones where they say they saw the future or they saw the past, and it's always during a lightning storm it happened.
Yeah.
Lightning's huge amount of electrical energy in discharge. So is that the key? A huge amount of energy. But if it's that easy to slip through time, not time travel, we're going to say slip. because when you time travel, there'd be an intent to do it. You wouldn't accidentally do it. But wouldn't it happen
Hmm.
more often in commercial airlines? Because they run into bad weather a lot. It's a plane in the sky, huge amount of energy. Would we not have more stories? Now, I'm not saying this guy's bullshitting or not telling the truth. He was a respected RAF soldier. He's not alive anymore. But so why would he make it up? Because that would ruin his integrity as an RAF pilot, a very well respected and trusted pilot. Why would he make this story up
Hmm.
and ruin his reputation?
He wouldn't know what to ruin his reputation anyway.
Exactly. Now, you might say, but he wrote a book out of it, so he clearly made money. Yeah, but he didn't write the book straight away. This was many years later. There's no way he was setting himself up that far ahead.
Hmm.
Because for all he know, that could have gone the opposite way. He got fucking locked up for being a crazy motherfucker who's still flying a plane for the RAF.
Yeah.
But what I don't get is, what if that is how it works? Because a lot of pilots say they see something that doesn't look quite right, then the weather clears and all of a sudden it's back to normal. Why doesn't that
Hmm.
happen with commercial airlines? Like, if I got on a plane now, why wouldn't that happen to me? Let's say I
Hmm.
took, I don't know, like, let's say I was an international business person and I took a flight every few days. Surely
Yeah.
a few hundred flights in the space of a few years, it happened to me.
Hmm.
But we don't get stories of it. Or does it happen and everyone's too terrified to talk about it because they'll think they're insane? Like, if you came to me and said, I think I went into a different time zone, I'd be like, Brian, stop smoking weed, stop drinking, think clearly, get off whatever glue you've been sniffing, it didn't happen. Like, I wouldn't believe you. The same way
Yeah.
if Monday morning, well, not morning, Monday afternoon, we get onto
Yeah.
stream and I'm like, Brian, you never guess what, dude?
Yeah. Give me 5 10 minutes.
If I came to you and said, never guess what, dude? During the weekend, I went through time, dude. I saw the year 2030. You'd be like, how drunk were you? What drugs are you on? You wouldn't believe me. No matter how much I tried to
True.
convince you, you'd be like, he's fucking stupid. Look at him. You wouldn't believe it. Because why would
Nah.
you? It's not like something that happens every day. It's not like me and you could just go, oh, Brian, tomorrow, dude, we're going to the 1930s. Got a video idea. It's not like we can do that.
Yeah.
Although we would be on top of the YouTube algorithm if we could. It's not something that's
Hmm.
believable. Like, we could conceivably
Yeah.
just redo over and over again. That's the problem with one-off occurrences. For it to be seen as real and it really happened, it has to be replicable. So you have to be able to replicate it.
Hmm.
The same way I know if I knock a bottle of water over, water's going to come out if there's no lid. I can keep knocking bottles of water over, it'll keep happening. But when you slip through time, it's not like you can repeat that because he did it like the Victor Goddard way. He doesn't exactly know how it happened. It's not like you went,
Yeah.
right,
Well,
I set this up, set that up, and went through.
I've read more into that story now,
Mm.
and he kept it quiet for years until he came out with it. And it says here, 4 years later, the RAF started painting their planes yellow, and mechanics' uniforms were switched to blue. 4 years after his story.
There you go. How weird's that? And they
In other
would,
words, he went into the future, saw that, and then
yeah, and it's not like they'd switch it to correlate with his story. That's a big fucking cover up if they did. I mean, that's an impressive cover up if
yeah.
they did. This is what I'm saying. It's not like he made it. Okay, it's a story. Technically, they're always made up, but it's not like he
Hmm.
did that with the intent to sell lies. Like, the story he portrays is what he genuinely believes he sees, and it later on it matches up with what things were changed.
Yeah.
It's not like he went over and said, "Yo, they're in pink uniforms, planes were rainbow coloured," and then it never happens.
Hmm.
The things he said he saw happened later on.
Yeah.
Now, my question is that what we call deja vu? Yeah, you ever gone and done something and thought, oh, I've done this before?
Loads of times.
Is that a time slip? Is time so? Time's relative, right?
Yeah.
Is it only relative under the assumption someone's monitoring it? So I know my heart's
Mm,
beating right now, but I don't know how fast because
yeah.
I'm not monitoring it. If I had an ECG, I could tell you the exact beat of my heart because it's been monitored. When it's not being monitored, it doesn't mean it's going to stay that beat. It could change. So it could go up, it could go down, depending on what activity I'm doing. So is
Hmm.
time the same way? So time's relative to everybody. So time for me is the 24 hours in a day, sunrises, sunsets. If I'm locked in a dark room with no clock, like no windows, no door, let's just say a box is put over me, for easier sake.
Yeah.
In my head, time's still 24 hours a day. The sun will rise, the sun will set. But when? Did it? Is it already set? Is it already rose? Yeah, bro. Is it already... What time is it? I can't see outside. I don't have a clock. I can no longer monitor my own time. So I could be in there for a week and it feels like I've been in there a month.
True.
Like when prisoners say, oh, I've been in the hole for months. No, you've been in there for 3 days. Wait, are you sure? It felt like forever. Is that a time slip because they can't monitor their own time anymore?
Possibly, yeah.
Is that why we think sometimes things take longer than they do? Like when we're streaming,
Hmm.
sometimes I'll look up and it's like 10 o'clock, we've been live 5 hours. Wait, I've just started and it's 5 hours in?
Yeah.
Like, I know that's because I've stopped monitoring and my mind's been distracted, so I've just got on with whatever I was doing. But in the same way that if you can't monitor time, time can seem to warp. Like, again, the prisoners, I feel like I've been in here forever. You've been in there a few days, but they've had no communication, no light, no real way of knowing the time. So they can't monitor time. So time's relative. It's only relative when we can monitor it, and that makes time slips happen.
So would that count for when you're sleeping, basically? You fall asleep for like, say, 10 minutes and it feels like you've slept for 4 hours, you feel fresh and that.
Or when you've had like a 5 minute nap, you wake up and you think it's the next day. Oh shit, I'm late.
Yeah.
Time slip. You're asleep. You're not monitoring your time. When you wake up after that 5 minute nap, because it's only been 5-10 minutes, you're still a bit dazed. You're a bit still out of it. You look at the time and think, oh, it must be the next day because I've been asleep. I must have slept all night. You get up, quickly panic. You then look at your phone or something. You're like, oh wait, never mind, never mind. Same day, same day. It's fine because you've slipped for a second.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's a weird one. And then following the sleep thing, right? You ever had that feeling when you're falling asleep? You know, you're just getting comfy. Your eyes are starting to shut. Oh shit, I'm falling.
Yeah.
Is that you getting ready to slip? Because why would you be moving? Let's say you're laid flat on the floor. You don't have to be comfortable.
Yeah.
You know you can't fall. You can feel all around you. You know it's solid floor, solid floor. You start to fall. Oh, fuck, I'm falling. But you can't be. You're on solid floor. Is that? That could be your mind going through that dreamy state or sleepy state, whatever it's called. Or is that you getting ready to slip? Because when you sleep, you can't monitor your time.
Hmm.
And also, when you go to sleep, let's say you fall asleep, you wake up, seconds have gone, right? Even though it's been
Hmm.
6 hours. Let's say you get a full night's sleep, 6-7 hours. You're awake all night. And someone's laid next to you asleep. This is taking fucking for ages, isn't it? What am I gonna do? Still asleep. They've been asleep hours now. What? For you, it's a long time, but for them, I'm asleep. Snap, I'm awake. No time's gone.
Yeah, that was like the other night there. Kelly fell asleep. I'm sitting up. Next thing I can, she's up. Oh, is that the time? I was like, what? She was like, I've only been asleep for like 20 minutes. I was like, aye. She's like, it feels like I've been sleeping for like 3 hours. I'm like, no, you just literally fell asleep.
But why is it though? Like, this is a genuine question I don't know the answer to, and I'll admit I usually check answers before I ask questions because you know. But when you fall asleep and wake up, let's say you do get that full 6 hours sleep or 7 hours, 8 hours, whatever your normal sleep is.
Yeah.
When you wake up, why does it feel like no time's passed? Even if you've been dreaming, you've had a great dream, whatever people dream about that they like. I don't really know what people dream about. But when you wake up, it's like
Hmm.
no time's passed, but you feel for some reason at peace, at rest. Like, you know, when you first get into bed, oh fuck, this is uncomfortable, can't get comfortable. But when you're waking up, I don't want to move, I'm so comfortable. Why is it everything changes? Like there's a piece missing, a
Hmm.
piece of time missing. It's kind of weird. Now,
Yeah, it's really weird.
waking up feeling more comfortable than when you went to sleep, that one's obvious. Your body's been in a rest state. Your muscles haven't been tensed
Hmm.
up. You haven't been holding your own weight up, standing up or sitting up. You've been led flat. All your weight's just sunken down.
Yeah.
That one's obvious. But why does it feel like no time's passed? Like, this is the one I've never understood. I think the first time I thought about this, I was a kid, and I fell asleep on the sofa. And I woke up and I thought, I only shut my eyes for a second. It had been like 4 hours. Like, wait.
Hmm.
I remember watching, like, hearing the TV. The conversation didn't feel like it ever stopped that they were having on the TV. When I woke up, it felt like I could keep it going, but it was a completely different thing going
Yeah.
on. I,
Hmm.
I've never understood how that works. Like, it's obscure. Because evolution, why do we need to be unconscious to end our day? Let's say we're cavemen. We're fighting fucking saber-toothed tigers, other cavemen. Why do I end my
Hmm.
day unconscious where you, another caveman, could come and kill me, or the saber-toothed tiger could come and kill me? Why do I end my day eyes shut, unconscious, not moving?
Hmm.
Like, it's weird. And why did it take me so long to wake up? Like, if I wake up and say, bro, I've got to go now, you'll be really slow and groggy to get moving, even if it's an emergency.
Do I?
We can't help it. Some people can just wake up and that's it, I'm wide awake. Like, I'm one of the people, if I wake up during the night, I can't get back to sleep. Once I'm awake, I'm awake. That's it. I'm up. I'm not one of these people who can wake up with an alarm, turn it off, go back to sleep, next alarm, back to sleep, back to sleep. I can't keep going back to
Hmm.
sleep. I don't know what it is. I just can't. It's just one of them things.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, we lose so much time sleeping, but we have some of our best adventures while asleep. Your dreams.
True.
In your dreams, your reality's different, right? Because it's a dream.
Do I?
You could be, let's say, in life, you're miserable, depressed, you're struggling. In your dream, you could be fucking Superman.
Hmm.
And in your dream, that makes sense. You've always been Superman. It's your dream. Of course you have.
Yeah.
But why? Why do we spend so much time asleep and without reality?
Hmm.
Or is our dream a different dimension?
Probably a different dimension. Because we haven't a thing. No, wait.
Okay, here's a weird question. In your dream, have you ever smelt anything?
No. No.
But if in your dream there's loads of grass and you wake up, you know what the grass smells like, don't you?
Yeah.
Have you ever tasted anything in a dream?
Nope.
Okay, now this one, get you. You ever felt somebody in your dream? I don't mean in a pervy way. You ever felt touched in your dream, like someone's grabbed you or holding onto you in your dream?
Yeah.
So why can't you smell and taste? Okay, so there's a few senses that are touch, taste, smell, sight, hearing. How come you can see in your dream, you
Mm-hmm.
can hear in your dream, you can feel touch in your dream? Why can't you smell or taste in your dream? Why are them two senses not used in the dream world?
Yeah, that's true. Huh. Never actually thought of that, like.
Why is it them two senses shut down? It's not like they're overworked. The two senses that are most used by humans are touch and sight. You
Mm-hmm.
touch everything, even without meaning to. I need my drink. I'll just touch the glass to get my drink. I need to be able to see that
Yeah.
drink to be able to pick it up. I need to be able to hear people talking to me. But how comes in my dream, the senses that are overworked the most, touch, I can touch in my dream. I can see. I can hear. But the senses that you don't overwork every day, taste, smell, because you're not constantly sniffing, are you, trying to get a smell? You could sit for hours without even
Mm.
breathing through your nose. You could be a mouth breather. I was that for about
True.
2 years after a broken nose. But why don't them senses get used in dreams? Um,
Hmm.
to tie it back in with time travel, because I had this planned out this bit in my head, because how comes I can go back in my dreams? I can go back to when I was a kid. I can see the people I used to see when I was a kid. without meaning to. Like my day could
Hmm.
be busy. I could be streaming all day. I could be working on fixing the computer, or I could just be watching movies that have got no relevance to my childhood.
Yeah.
But when I get to sleep, all of a sudden I feel like I'm back in school. I can see the people I used to go to school with. They don't look how they look now. They look how they did when I was a kid. How is it in my
Yeah.
mind I can go back? And I'm going to assume everyone's done this at some point. They've gone back in a dream by accident. Like I've gone to sleep once, dreamed that I was still in school, woke up and was like, "Thank fuck, I'm not actually at school." Like I was actually paranoid for a while that I was back in school.
Hmm.
But why is it we can go back in our dreams? Like we're going back in time. We're traveling back.
That's true.
That can make it weirder.
So technically we can time travel when we're sleeping.
Maybe this is what I'm getting at. And do you know what's weird? You ever dreamt about your future in the future? I haven't. You ever dreamt that you're like
Hmm.
50 years old?
Nope.
Do you know why? Because that piece of time hasn't been recorded yet, but your childhood has. Because you were there to
Huh.
record it. Your eyes are lenses, your brain's storage. It's like the camera. How comes
Yeah.
you can look back? Dude, I've dreamt about times in my life that I don't remember now. Like, I wouldn't be able to just go back in my brain right now and be like, oh, that happened. Like shit that happened in school. I wouldn't be able to just sit here and go, that lesson was quite good. I remember sitting next to this person, talking to this person, but in my dream, it's all there. It all feels real. We're having a conversation. I'm answering like I'm actually there. It's not like I'm going back and I'm seeing myself sat there. Like I'm going back as an adult. I look down. There's me sat next to there in this place. I'm actually back in that body as me as the kid. Why can I do that in a dream? Why can I travel back in a dream?
That's actually a good point.
So is most time travel memory? Because I can trigger memories of yours with smell, right? Like a certain
Yeah.
smell. Like it could be a certain meal. Could be the smell of the ocean if you spent a lot of time at sea. It'll trigger memories.
The smell of petrol when my dad burnt his hand filling up his lighter.
I've done that a few times. It's quite fun. I lost all the hair. But it's weird how a smell
Uh,
can bring you back in time. Like
yeah.
if there's a certain smell, you can close your eyes. I'm back there. What? How does that? Like, how? What? First up, why does our brain keep a hold of that?
True.
Like, I want to constantly learn, but I'd only have a certain amount of space to learn. Right? Your brain can only hold a certain amount of information. So if I want to constantly learn, why am I remembering things that don't help my life now? Like, let's say I'm trying to learn how to fix a car engine.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for a week now. I go home, can't remember anything I've done, but I can remember a smell reminds me of when I was like 6.
Hmm.
That memory of me being 6 with that smell or whatever triggered it, doesn't have to be smell, isn't helping me progress in life now. But what I'm trying to learn could, but I can't remember it now. I can only remember that. Like why are we programmed to do that? Is it to make regression and time travel and going back to previous? I don't want to say lives because it's still the same life. Previous times of when you were alive, when you were a kid. Why do we need that ability? Is it to make it the world seem more real? Because if we
Hmm.
never had a memory, for all we know, we could be robots. We're just programmed to do this.
Yeah.
But why do I need to be able to go back to as a kid?
Hmm.
Like people are starting to
That was
lose
the
their
best
mind.
memories.
But okay, but I can make it weirder. So people have got like Alzheimer's and they're losing their mind. They're forgetting
Yeah.
people. Let's say someone could meet you and they'd forget you within minutes, but they can look back. When I was a kid, I did this. This is my best friend. Why can they remember that, but not more recent? What is in our brain making us hold on?
Hmm.
Because I don't need right. I don't know if this will sound bad or anything, but I don't need memories of when I was a kid because I was looked.
Nah.
When you're a kid, you're looked after. You're given food. You know, you're taught how to walk, communicate. Why do I need to remember that when I already know how to do it now? Like if I forget what happened when I was like 8, when I was in school, you know, talking to friends. That if I forget that, I'm not going to forget
Yeah.
how to be alive, to function. So why is there something in my head that holds on to that? And it's not like it's a special occasion,
Yeah.
like when you found your when you met your wife or you had your first kid, or it's not like a big occasion like that. It's just a random event that happened when I was a kid. I was in school, we was talking about some weird shit. Nothing happened. It's just a normal day.
Hmm.
Why does my brain keep hold of that? Because it's not like it's a significance. It's not like it's the first time I learned a new language or learned to walk. Like I can't remember learning to walk, which is important because I need to walk now.
Yeah.
But I can remember doing stuff as a kid. Like I can remember days when I was like 11 going out and playing football with friends that I don't even talk to anymore. Like, but I can remember their faces, their voice when they were that age. Why do I need that kind of information? Why do I need to be able to
Hmm.
travel back in my own mind to that time?
Yeah. Yeah. That is weird. That one, like.
Because can you remember a time when you was a kid? Just any. That's not
Mm,
significant. It's not like a big event.
no.
But how comes when you go to bed and you go to sleep, you can? You see what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah.
like I can just call upon my memory right now. Like if you said, "What did you do last year on this day?" I wouldn't be able to just be like, right. So I went here. I met this person. I did that. I ate that. I did that." I wouldn't be able to do any of that.
Nah.
If I fall asleep, all of a sudden I can have a memory of what I was doing last year. Like, whoa, that was weird. Like, why would I? If I can't like force myself to think about that and picture it in my mind so I could describe it to someone. Why is it when I'm asleep, my eyes shut, I'm unconscious, all of a sudden my brain's just like, got one for you, last year, let's play it. Why'd you do that?
Yeah. That is weird. That.
Unless when we're asleep, we're slipping back.
Hmm.
Because why would we remember insignificant things? Like the weather. What the weather was four
Yeah.
years ago, don't think it's affecting me right now. If it was snowing 4 years ago, it's still 26 degrees right now. That's not changing it. So why can I fall back on that?
Hmm.
Did you ever just sat there? You got nothing to do, so you just sit there, you close your eyes, and all of a sudden, all these memories start coming back to you. As soon as you open
Yeah.
your eyes to sort of readjust where you are, okay, I'm awake. Wait, all them, it's all gone.
Hmm.
You can just remember little bits of it, but when you were led back in that weird, relaxed state where you're half asleep, half awake, your eyes are shut, you're remembering all this like it's just happening right in front of you. But as soon as you become alert again, you can remember bits of it. Oh, I just remember it was uh that maybe that.
Hmm.
Like, why is it as soon as we're back in that alert state, awake, it's gone? Now, it could be a defense mechanism. You know, that memory's not going to protect my life right now. If something happens. That could be why I forget it. Same way you forget dreams. That's why your dreams don't make sense when you wake up.
Yeah.
Because of when we were cavemen, we had to be awake to fight in case something happened.
Hmm.
But if that's the case, why did we even have that state to begin with? Why did evolution give us that memory? If as soon as I hear a noise, I'm asleep. I need to be up ready to fight in case it's like a tribe attacking me, like when we were tribes, or a big animal trying to kill me. Why would I ever
Yeah.
have had that dreamy state where I could just be avoiding everything?
Hmm.
You'd think you'd just like sleep really light and you'd also be half alert, like maybe sleep with one eye open, look around.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense
Nah.
unless we need it to travel back. But why would we need to travel back? Does that mean all of us are technically traveled through time because we can remember things as a kid?
Hmm.
If so, what's the benefit? Because I understand why we sleep. We need to rest. We need to clear out our mind, detoxify sort of thing. It's good for you.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we need the ability to project images in our mind when we're asleep of when we were younger, especially if it's not relevant, like not important. I mean, relevance could be a thing. Like, let's say you're looking through Facebook at old family photos or whatever, and then you fall asleep and you remember them. Yeah, it's because you just looked at them.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm looking back at pictures when I was in school because there's no pictures that exist of me when I was in school. It's not like we were all just walking around taking pictures and recording everything because it
True.
wasn't worth it. We're seeing each other every day. What's the point in taking pictures of it?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Now, dinosaurs were wiped out by a meteor, right?
Yes.
We think we know that. I'm not going to say we definitely do because I can't look back and say yes. Now, that was a big reset, people say, because most species that were ever around, like 90% of them, are gone now because of that. Which brings me back to what I said at the beginning: do we have a finite time before we're done as a species? Does every species, every living thing, go through a reset period? Because what made me think of this is when COVID first started, we all was expecting this to be the end. It's going to be hell.
Yeah.
It's going to be anarchy. That could have been the big reset, but it wasn't. It wasn't as bad as we thought. Where we live, things are back to normal, or mostly back to normal. For you, they're completely back to normal here. So it wasn't the disaster we thought it was. But humans have come close to being extinct before, the Black Plague.
Yep.
But we bounced back. Are we immune to disaster? Humans always seem to find a way, is what I'm getting at.
Hmm.
But what built us that way? Time, right? Evolution.
Yeah.
So, because of the things we learn, or our ancestors learned, we didn't learn them, are keeping us alive now, are we able to travel back to learn that still? And that's how we still do it. Like
Hmm.
I'm not a craftsman or a carpenter or anything, but if you give me a knife and a stick, I could probably make a pointy spear out of it quite easy.
Oh,
I
aye.
don't need to be shown that. But why do I know that? We have guns
Hmm.
now. Why do I still need to know how to make a pointy stick? I'm
More
not.
effective.
Well, I'm not. I'm not going to go out tonight and hunt for my meal. I could just go
Hmm.
to a grocery store or phone up Uber Eats or whatever, and they'll bring it. It's not like I need to know how to do that anymore.
Yeah.
But I still know how to make that spear. No one's ever taught me or showed me how to make that spear, but I reckon I could make the spear. Be easy. Just sharpen it down.
For some reason, it's imprinted in our minds.
Yeah, the same way memories are. But we didn't ever experience that memory. So can we get memories
Hmm.
from other people, i.e., your parents? Obviously, you're not going to get a memory from me because we're not related. So can memories be passed down without ever communicating that memory? Let's say I have a kid now, yeah, and all of a sudden, when it's like 12, it knows how to do something that I know how to do, but I never told it how to do it. Could it have got that memory from me? Or is it just coincidence?
Hmm. That's got me thinking, cause my wee one likes gymnastics, but no one in my family or Kelly's family ever done gymnastics.
But that one's less of a evolutionary trait, though, isn't it? That's more of an interest. What I'm saying is they all of a
Hmm.
sudden know how to do it. It's not like they're interested in learning it. It's just they just know how to do it, like we do with a spear. I have no interest in learning how to make
Yeah.
a spear with a knife and a stick, but I reckon I could do it. It's not like I need to learn that or have an interest in it. It's just all of a sudden I know how to do it. Like talking's a weird one for me. So I have some young people in my family right now who are just learning to talk and walk. What's weird is for the first year, maybe one word, two words. Then all of a sudden they can string a sentence together
Full
without people
sentences and
explaining it.
everything.
Why? How does that? Where's that switch?
Hmm.
And if that's already imprinted in them, the ability to speak, formulate sentences, is there going to become a time when somebody's born and they can instantly speak? Because that gene that slows them down isn't there.
Hmm. True, because what it takes, what, a couple of months before they start. Well, when they start speaking a couple of words.
Yeah, in about a year and a half to string a sentence together. Is there a way to skip that process? Because no one's ever described. So this is what confuses me. No one's ever described to me what words mean. Like if I say, Brian, how are
True.
you? No one's ever explained to me what how means, but I can answer that question. Like if you said to me, what are you up to right now? No one's ever explained what them words mean, but I can be like, Brian, I'm recording a podcast. Like I'd know what they mean without being told what they mean. Because when you're teaching a kid to speak, usually the first word you try and get them to say is mom or dad.
Yeah.
But then when they start putting sentences together, you're like, but I never told you what any of that means. How do you... Even if I was to tell you what it means, you wouldn't understand what I was trying to tell you. Because you don't know what that word is yet.
Here's another thing that'll probably puzzle you.
Every
Kind of
podcast,
we're talking about this
motherfuckers.
speech
Look at
thing
his
and that.
reaction. Every podcast.
Right? Just say your parents are both deaf.
Yep.
And kind of they do the sign language.
Yep.
Well, when the kid comes out, how they got to ken how to talk about?
Because it's genetics.
Because usually they hear from their parents talking and that, but...
Well, I would assume... Right, I'd assume somebody else would teach... Like, another member of the family teach them to talk. And their parents would teach them sign language. But what would confuse me is how they could put them both together. Because if you're teaching a kid sign language who can hear, you're saying, right, this action with your hands means this word or letter. But to a kid who's learning both at the same time, it's just learned what hello means now, but it knows how to sign hello, but somehow knows they mean the same without someone explaining they mean the same. See what I'm saying? Like if you're learning two languages at the same time, most people can start to put it together. Oh, that means that from that language. That means that from that language. How? How do you know that? No one's ever explained it to you, but you're right. You get it right, but no one's ever explained that to you. How do we do that?
So would that be like subtitles and that, Japanese subtitles? When if you didn't have the subtitles on, you can what some of the words mean.
You can make a guess by body language.
Yeah.
But the word complex, yeah, is you know what that means? It means it's complicated.
Yeah.
But complexity, complex, and complicated are all the same word, just said differently. They all mean the same.
Used differently.
Yeah, but they all mean the same. They all mean something's very difficult to grasp. But no one's ever told you that.
True.
But you know it. Because you see the pattern.
Yeah.
You see the similar letters, you put it together. But it's kind of weird that we can convey things without speech as well. Like if I'm feeling upset, you might be able to look at me and say, "Are you okay today? You don't look right." So I've pretty much spoke to you without words, right? See, writing it down's a little bit different because you're still using words. But if I'm depressed or unwell, most of the time people, you can look at somebody and go, "You don't look right. Are you okay?" So they've talked to you without words. And you instinctively know how to read them, body language. Most people do. Some people not very good at reading body language. If I'm annoyed, I might be tensing up. My hands might be going into fists. I might be pacing up and down. You can look at somebody doing that and think they're probably pissed off. Some people might look at that and think maybe he's bored. So some people don't always get it right, but you know something's wrong without words. And I have a weird one for you now. Ciao, Joe Rogan. I'm stealing this. So ancient Egypt hieroglyphs, we have them today. Emojis on your phone. You can do the eggplant emoji and a waving one, and people are going to think you mean a wank. That's a hieroglyph. Yeah. There's no words used, but you know what it means. Smiley face and a heart and thumbs up. You're happy or proud of somebody. That's a hieroglyph.
Yeah.
I didn't use words. So are we going backwards? See, there's two ways of looking at this, right? One, we're going backwards, and we're going to start acting like Egyptians and using pictures to convey words?
Hmm.
Or are we going forwards because we could use that as an international language? If I send that to somebody the other side of the world, they're going to get a rough idea what I mean. So our pictogram's going to become the new international language, global language, because we all understand emojis.
Yeah.
If I send a waving emoji and a smiley face to somebody, let's say in Germany, doesn't speak English, they probably mean us, like a hello. You got a smiley face and a wavy face, probably means hello.
Yeah.
If I sent that to somebody in America, they'd probably get the same idea. If I sent it to Australia, they'd probably get the same idea. If I sent it to China, they'd probably get the same idea. But no one's ever spoke about this, and we don't speak the same native language. So are we going back to pictograms, like hieroglyphs, and could that make an international language?
Most likely, yeah.
So are we going forwards or backwards
Everyone's
with it?
using it nowadays, so
So are we getting smarter by working that out, or are we getting dumber because we're falling back to what we used to do, like cave paintings?
getting dumber.
But our communication's better.
Hmm.
Right, to end off, if you could go back to anywhere in the past, because it's time travel, where would you go and why?
Ancient Egypt to see how the pyramids were really built.
It's a good one. I'm going Roswell. I want to see
Ooh.
what did crash land. Like I'm not one of these people
I
who
was
go.
thinking of that.
The same people say I'll go back to when man first learned to talk. That no, I want to see what fucking land. I want to see if aliens were real. Right, you got.
Or there would probably be the other one to see if the moon landing was real.
Oh, that one. Oh, Brian, please don't tell me you think that's fake. I can prove that one's real to you. We put a mirror on the moon that we can bounce lasers off to measure its distance from the Earth, and it's moving about 28 inches away from Earth every year because of the speed the laser comes back. So that one definitely happened. How else would we have a mirror on the moon? Oh, special, Brian. Right, you got anything else you want to add, Brian?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back in 2 weeks because we're doing this every 2 weeks because we're not very good at time schedules.
Nope.